Talk to you a little bit about where we're coming from and what is going on currently where we are reading from. And in this story in Joshua, this is when the people of Israel were come again to the place to where they were going over to where God told them they could have. And the instructions had come, Moses had died, and the instructions had come for them to, it was time for them to go. So they had received instructions, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit. And when you start in the first chapter, the instructions came, but then in the second chapter, the spies were sent to spy out the land. And so then they came back with a good report. But what was interesting is when the spies went to the land to spy it out, there's a lady named Rahab. And those of you who don't know who Rahab is later referred to her as a prostitute. So just to put it plain as day. I was trying to think of something fancy and elegant, but just so the people understand, that's what she was deemed as. So she saved these men, the spies, and she hid them, and the people. And then what was also interesting is, why did they know they just went to Rahab's? Did all the men that came to the city go to Rahab's? But anyway, that's another topic. But I was like, okay, how they knew, who told? But anyhow, so while they were there, she hid them. But after she hid them, she told them that we knew you were coming. And there are some times in life when the enemy knows that you're coming to get the things that God has already set up for you to have, and you don't even know that they know about you. They know. She knew the whole story about how they first crossed the Red Sea. And then the kings they defeated, she knew that the God they served was the true and living God. And so many times we go through life and we're not even sure. Ebony caught me one time after prayer and told me she was speaking life, and I appreciate it. And when she said, "Do you know that you are a movement?" Not you're in a movement, you are the individual, you are the movement. And the same is in this situation. These fellas did not know that Rahab knew that they were the movement. Rahab knew, and she gave them all the stories, and then she later told them that, can you keep this promise, and can you save my family when you all come back to get what God has promised you? I know I am technically an illegal inhabitant of what the promise God has given you, but because I spared your life, can you spare my family? Now that'll go somewhere else. I'm not trying to preach 15 sermons. Just pick up. If the Lord speaks something to you, jot it down and teach it to us. So in that, they made the promise, so then they went back. And they told her the report, and so they had to keep their word. But skipping over chapter 3, which is still talking about the process, and within that, they were getting ready, and they were told that they had 3 days, to prepare, get all your belongings. We got to make this journey. We're about to make this move, get everything you got, because we're going over. We're about to cross. And in this, nobody asked questions. So many times you get people tell you, oh, we about to make this move. We going out of town. Because the Lord told you you got a job. I don't want you to go nowhere, Miss Bridget. But, say the Lord gave you a job out of state. And you said, the Lord gave it to me, the Lord gave it to me. But when the time came for you to pack up, now everything's you comfortable, so to speak, but you got to move, but you're comfortable. So when the time came, you start complaining. Well, Lord, you told me I only got 3 days. I got so much stuff. Oh, I got so many people I got to tell goodbye to. Oh, Lord, I'm overwhelmed. But then the real part of you being overwhelmed, once you get done, if you don't move, then you tell the Lord, you didn't come when I needed you to come. Or you didn't bless me. You didn't move. And it's not as big as you getting a job and moving across the state. Sometimes you knew that the Lord, I'm not against Section 8 public housing. If I could have it right now, I would take it. So let me give you that before I go to my next point. So don't nobody get up there and say they are uppity church. Ooh. They don't believe him. Yeah, we do. But I said that to say, the Lord told you you are here for a moment, or this is a stopping point. This is a process. But you, when the time comes for someone to offer you a better job, to where you can pay regular rent or even buy you a house, whatever the case may be, you say, Lord, I don't want that. Lord, I don't want to move way over on that side of town. Lord, I don't want to drive that far to work, back and forth. Mind you, this is putting you in a place better than where you currently are, all the way around. But you're going to find reasons to why you don't want to move. You're going to find reasons to why you don't want to take the next steps to further yourself, but you said you believe in the promise that God gave you. And you're like, what does that have to do with being set up to celebrate? If you don't move, you will never get to celebrate. If you don't do in the order, and what's interesting is he gave them the steps of what to do. And he told them that when they got into Jordan, for the one of the men out of each 12 tribe, each representative, to pick up a stone. And when they picked up these stones, for them to carry it over with them and put them on the dry land on the next side, on the other side of Jordan where they were crossing over to. No one said the stones was heavy. No one said what kind of stones. No one said why him, not me. They just followed the instructions. And so it is hard in life when you have a question about everything. It is hard in life. I remember growing up as a child, that was the worst thing you could do. When your parent or someone they deemed responsible over you gave you an instruction and you was the why kid. I am testifying, I was the why kid. It followed me through life. Help me. But what I mean by that is, I give a little example. When your parent gave you something that, you know, some houses you go to, you instruct your kids you have to eat first before you could drink. Well, that didn't happen in my house, but as you can see, I ate my food. So it wasn't a situation of, you know, you have to eat, I ate, and drink at the same time. So when I would go to, you know, other people's house, and they kids would be sitting at the table, and Mama or Daddy said, we can't have, why? Because we got to eat all our food. Well, no, not in my house. We get our drink when we get our food. And so then the parent would say, you just mean, or you just, well, I just want to know why. If you can't explain to me why, then, okay. That didn't mean I didn't get in trouble, because then your parent would say, your mouth, you just talk too much. You just got something to say all the time. That is how we are in the kingdom. We have something to say all the time. Why they start at 1? Well, why you don't go where you went at 10:45? Because it's something different. It's the place for you to move to. 1 o'clock might be where you need to be. Oh, well, why they sing that song, or why they do a fast, and why they do a slow. Lift your hands, come on. Clap your hands. Come on. Come on. Why so many? Why all the whys? But then when I ask you why, you tell me I'm meddling. Or you tell me I'm rude. Because my why is not always as nice as Pastor Rafford. You know, my eyes might squint. Head to why. Why you do what you do. So, the people of God did not get caught up in the whys. And I'm telling you, please do not get caught up in the whys, because when you start asking why, you slow down the process. I told you, he told them in 3 days we were going over. So when the day come and they had already received instructions, nobody, and mind you, the Jordan wasn't no little bitty river. And it was known at this time of year to overflow anyway. So no one said, I can't swim. No one said, how are we going to do it? All they did was follow the instructions. And what is really interesting, they hadn't seen it, but their forefathers had seen this done. These are the children of a couple generations of the people who had crossed the Red Sea. So many times we come in here and say, oh, I thank him because of what he did for my mama. Oh, what he did for my granny. Oh, I seen him work wonders. Oh, they tell me about the days of old. But then you ask why when the instructions come for you. I cannot say I believe God that he did it then, but then ask him why I have to go through this process. But yet I told him, I know he's a healer, I know he's a deliverer, but I do not want to go through the process that he has given me to go through. And it is really frustrating for someone to tell you as a person that they believe in you, but then ask you why all the time, after they've already asked you to help them. How you ask for help and then complain about how the help comes? How do we do that? And so many times you just get to the place where you're so comfortable. That's the real truth. Why you don't, that's really the why you need to ask, Lord, why am I comfortable in this place? Why am I comfortable with not being excited about the move that you have told me I have coming? Why am I not excited about going over to the promise that you have given me? And you have to just really, 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 really be careful. Because you don't want to get to the place to where God stops doing for you. You don't want to get to the place to where, you know, say you've been in the habit of receiving job after job. And you're getting promotions or whatever, but then you get picky. And say, oh, well, Lord, I really don't want that job. I want this job. Mind you, asked him for help, and then you have cried and screamed about it's torture where you are. Really, it's not, but, you know, we throw tantrums. You know, we make everything worse than what it is sometimes, especially when we're challenged. And so many times we get to the place to where, Lord, you know, I want this, and he does it. You halt the move because then you start asking questions. And then the next time he don't move, then you tell him, Lord, you're not listening to me. Lord, you're not doing what I asked you to do. Yes. But last time and we can bring it on down to earth. We don't have to stay in the heaven. We'll bring it down to earth. When someone asks you for help and you help them, and then they turn around and complain about the help, then you're really less than, I feel like next time, please don't ask me. I know what my obligation is. But those of you who was just referring to the leadership earlier, like Pastor Rafford said, I pray for you. you don't do your part of the obligation, but then you'll come back and ask for prayer again. And then tell me, you know, well, that's your job. No, your job was to do what you were supposed to do. Don't tell me what my job is and you haven't fervently, what's fervently? Taking it serious, worked hard at whatever you were supposed to be doing. But getting off that was just a little tantrum. I told you we'd throw them sometime. But he said this should be a sign among you that when your children ask the fathers time to come, saying, what mean ye these stones? Now, when they were going over the Jordan, and they picked up the stones to take them over, this is like when you go through tests, and I'm not justifying anybody in here that is a hoarder. I'm not. But understand where I'm going. Sometimes people cannot get rid of things because they really have a remembrance and attachment to them of where I used to be. And I remember I was 25 and my parents was buying another house, and Mom brought out baby clothes. I have a younger brother, so the time had long passed to where we was doing hand-me-downs, okay? There's only a 2-year difference. And she was just really, you know, oh, and that didn't mean anything to me. I don't remember the color. I don't remember what it looked like. If there are no pictures, I don't know what I look like in the outfit, okay? So it's not important to me. But she is really, and then she almost teared up thinking about, you know, everything that has occurred since that, you know, from those clothes until that moment we were talking. And all I wanted her to do was throw them away. Because there was no need. We don't have an antique shop. We didn't have a retro shop. And we, you know, they was too old for Goodwill. Come on now, you don't give everybody everything. Sometimes it's okay. Or turn them into a rag or something when you wash your car. Do something, dust with them. But I'm saying people have an attachment to things. And it's okay. But is the attachment good? Are you celebrating a real victory, or are you holding on to a sad and a lost memory? And what I mean by that is, women, I'm sorry, I'm not going to bash you, but y'all really hold on to things. And that joker, as the old people called him, he's been gone 25 years, done been married 3 times. Y'all never made it through the engagement, but you will not let go of that ring. It's buried and it's tucked, it's everywhere, but it's still special. Why is it special? You can't celebrate. Well, no. If you was really celebrating that the Lord rescued you and saved you, but that ain't what you're doing. You still talking about, oh, it could have been me 3 women ago. Why? Why? And we, you know, I remember when I was younger, I'm going to date myself. We was not selfie kings when I was growing up. We were still on the edge of Polaroids. And, you know, we were still writing letters. And when I was in high school, if you had a cell phone, you either worked or you had a rich parent. Because we were still kind of converting over from pages to cell phones. But I said that to say, if you still have Polaroids, fellas, tucked away, why? She don't even look like that no more. Not at all. Not at all. You get mad when you look at the picture and then you see the current. So why do you have the picture? You're not celebrating. You are not celebrating. But let's move on to the things you should hold on to. When someone gives you something, and this is an example I can give you. Traditionally, when people get baptized or they get saved, they receive a Bible, or someone in the family will give them something. And in life's journey, we go through many different things. Some of us turn our backs completely on Christ. Some of us go different ways. But you can look at that stone, meaning the Bible that someone once presented you with, because you can look back and say, this is the time in my life when I was really trying to get to know Christ. And this is the time when he revealed himself to me, which means if I can look back and celebrate, there is still an opportunity for that to occur in my life. When they picked up these stones and it was going to be set up for them, this gave them the opportunity for their children to look back and say, what happened? Now, sometimes when people ask us what happened, we can't always say it with a positive smile. We can't always be happy. But they can tell them of all the victories that the Almighty had already done for them and brought them through. And they can sit there and talk about it for days on end. And there is nothing like talking to an older person that has gone through a few things in life. And they tell you they don't coat anything. They tell you it's red, it's red, it's red. And I love it. I had a grandmother. Now, I'm not justifying all her actions. But I had a grandmother that just kept it straightforward at all times of the day. And I remember one time I said, are you going to go celebrate your pastor? No. And I'm like, well, you down in your body, you know, it's a good time to go celebrate. But no. Why are you not going? Because you celebrate with people you appreciate. And I said, well, okay. I wasn't going. I was like, all right. But I'm saying that to say she could tell me, you know, about everything that had occurred in her life and why she felt the way she felt. But there are so many times we hold on to treasures that are really not treasures that you really can't explain to the next person why you do what you do. And I don't want to be deep, but sometimes in church we call things stones. I mean, we have these stones as in things we have declared sacred that are not sacred. I remember the way the church I grew up in, you had the opportunity to cross the pulpit like an X. You would have thought you cursed that pulpit when you went like an X. I'm talking about, I remember one time my neck went back like this because they was trying to catch me. You know, they just grab you by and trying to catch me before this was after church. I mean, I didn't know. Now, I still don't know why, but anyway. But so I'm saying, we have declared these things sacred, and you can't explain to me, let alone celebrate. Yeah, right. And kids, because I was that kid. When I went to the Holiness Church, I asked why about everything. We don't play cards, why? We don't go out eat at night, why? You need to be in before it's too late. Why? And don't give me something simple like, don't let your good be evil spoken of. What? I was at the grocery. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So you have to know what is important, what is vital, what to celebrate, what not to celebrate. When the Lord is setting you up, when the Lord is setting you up and he's giving you the instructions, go with it. Go with it. Don't sit there at the point to where you have so many questions and why and why and why and how long. Just go with the flow. And I'm not saying be lazy. When you're going with the flow, you're still working. You're still praying. You're still waiting in expectation. You're still believing God. But you can't make him move any faster than what he has already determined he's going to do. You can't make him do any more than what he wants to do. You can't get to the place to where you say, God, it's not enough. God, I really don't want to do this. Because they were getting set up to be able for years. We are currently celebrating those stones. So what are you hindering by asking all the questions? Who are you preventing to celebrate in the future? Who are you preventing to celebrate? You have to be excited about every test. Yes, cry. Yes, you might need a little pick-me-up every now and then, somebody to speak life. But be determined to know that I am going through this so somebody can celebrate the victory of Jesus in the future. Just know that every time you feel like it's not coming fast enough, just know you've been set up to celebrate. And the celebration is not just us. It's not an individual celebration. They all went over at one time. This happened in one big swoop. Everybody packed their bags. They didn't lose anything. And made it over. So how can you not be excited about going through and you haven't lost anything, let alone I can celebrate that you came over with me and we made it together. So be excited to know that the generations to come after us will be able to celebrate the victory of God and look at the stones that we have overcome, that we were able to build as our altar unto the Lord. That they can look back and say, my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunt, family, friend, whatever. They told me it was going to be all right. How do I know it was going to be all right? Because I rode past their house and they were smiling. How do I know it's going to be all right? Because I have a mother that grew up picking cotton before and after school. She's not even old. My mother's 61. So, I said all that to say, when she's able to look back, and it's so funny because every time we go past the cotton field, Mama, I'm 36, I know you pick cotton, we hear this all the time. Ooh, them rows were so long. And I'm like, that's where she's from, Mississippi, that's it. And I say, Mama, I'm sorry, and I'm looking like, I can't imagine, but I appreciate you. But I'm saying this to say, when she looks back over those rows every time we drive past, she celebrates what God has done for her. And in her stones, she made sure that my brother and I did not have to go through those kind of opportunities, along with my father. So I'm saying that you have to live so, and not while you celebrating, while you have been set up to celebrate, like I just said, live so they don't have to see those oppositions yet again. Live so they won't have to repeat another Red Sea. Live so they will not have to repeat another Jordan. Because when I look back at those things, I'm able to see what I don't have to do, how to live my life so I do not have to go through those things and have those experiences. So please always remember, and this is just the beginning. Pastor Radford's going to wrap it up. You'll scream, holler, shout, roll through the floor, I promise. Well, I won't promise. I won't promise you that, because I really don't know how he's going to wrap it up. But this is just the beginning. When you look back over your life, that you learn from the lessons and that you can be able to glean from the lessons that you have gone through. Even if you had to repeat them a few times. That's when you really need to take a stone. Oh, Lord, it took me 10 years to get over that. I remember I had a great aunt who used to smoke. And she kept cigarettes on her coffee table. And I used to say, Aunt Myrtle, you know, why you keep these cigarettes and you don't smoke? Oh, every day I walk past them. It just helped me to remember what I came from. Wasn't tempted. I ain't saying she didn't have other issues, but that one, she was able to celebrate. And when they gathered these stones, that didn't mean they didn't have issues. That didn't mean they went and lived in the promised land on the cloud and they did everything correctly after. But as far as that was concerned, they wasn't going to go through that again. So no, celebrate. In our growth tracks, we say celebrate the wins. Celebrate. Celebrate, talk about it. Tell your story. Sometimes young people do dumb stuff because you won't talk. There is nothing more irritating than when you get 40 and then your family won't tell you the truth. You thought you was going crazy as a kid. And not to know it's 3 generations of crazy looking at me. But you didn't want to tell me, you know. I remember, I got one more story. I'm almost done with celebrating. I remember we had the family that was incarcerated, and my parents told me they was in school. So I would go to church, and they say, "How's such and such?" "Oh, he in school." Quit lying. Don't do that. I know there's a way to filter things, and I know there's a way you don't want to expose your kids, but half the time the kid already knows. And now in this day and age, you slow if you haven't already informed your kid. And all of us, I don't have kids, but I'm just speaking in grown-ups, all of us paying an extra $30 to $50 a month because your child got to have a cell phone. And they don't have a flip phone. They don't have a basic phone. They got the same iPhone that I got that I make payments on it. How much sense does that make? And if I can Google anything, if I can access anything besides what the government has deemed private, what makes you think your kids don't? And half of you don't even have filters and things. Notifications, you just pay the bill and say, "I don't know why they act the way they do." Oh, okay. But please, please, celebrate when God has given you a promise, when God has put you on a journey, when God has given you instructions. Please do not ask so many questions yet again. Please come on, cross over, pick up the stones, and be able to tell your story, please, because it will help everyone. It will help you. It will help you. Don't be prideful. Just because you look good now, tell me you was homeless last week. Tell me you're a pretty woman, but tell me that you got your head warmed. Because if you tell me, you tell everyone, we know what to look for. We know how to protect ourselves, the next person. Tell us why you lost your job. Tell us. We love the scripture where it says, now it's time, the Lord is looking for those who worship him in spirit and in truth. Tell the truth. What that stone, tell it. Please, please, please. Remember, the Lord is setting you up to celebrate and to celebrate forever. It said that the children may look back on these stones forever. Please, in all that you do, everyone, I'm not hooping, I'm not hollering, I'm definitely not rolling. I just want you to celebrate. I want you to know that God has not punished you. He is not taking you through anything to be cruel. He's not taking you through anything for people to laugh at you. You have to know that God is taking you through these things so you can help the next generation. You could help the person coming after you. Sometimes you need to help the people that's standing beside you. So remember, in all that you do when you're being set up, thank God for the victory. Remember to stand on the name of Jesus. I am done. That is it. Celebrate. 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 Look at the stones. Look back at them. Tell your story. Help the next person to come through. Prevent everything that you can prevent by telling your story. So the young people need to know everything that you have gone through. Everything. Everything. If you need to ask the parent, can I tell the child